Thank you very much for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. A lot going on. We have a couple hurricanes, or Beatrice about to become a hurricane. There's Hurricane Adrian. I'm going to dive into that. Heavy rain, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, even Venezuela. And then look at that flaring up on your screen right there. That blob, you see it yourself. That is going to bring a big flood threat. I've been talking about the last few videos, so I want to get into that. And if you have any interest in this, again, Beatrice is going to bring hurricane conditions to parts of Central America. I'm going to dive into that in this video. A couple big systems out there in the Eastern Pacific. Watching these blobs of rain, but that grabbing your attention right there. So that is something I'm going to be watching very carefully. These are all the tropical waves. And here's the issue. This is what I've been watching for. Again, I'm not seeing signs that these are spitting up like tropical storms or hurricanes, but look how each tropical wave just kind of dives down over the same area and then swings back near Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Guyana, and Trinidad and Tobago. That training effect, it's one after another, and that's a big concern for flooding because we don't get much of a break. It's like a day and a half, 2 days, and then we get dumped on again. The ground is saturated. We still have standing water in spots. The rivers have been rising as a whole. So again, this is a big issue. And you see this blob here. Now, it's mainly just to the north of Guyana. Some of it has moved in, but this is going to move in tonight and tomorrow. And then on the backside of it, more scattered storms. Now, here's the deal with this. As this moves in, it's going to give us tropical storm conditions in spots. It's not organized, so it's going to be one of those scenarios where some spots just don't get a lot. But other spots are going to get dumped on with tropical storm wind gust and rain like it's a tropical storm. That's how a strong tropical wave acts. And that's why we're going to see that high chance of flooding. Again, this spots may be a little bit different. One area may not have a lot. Others may get dumped on with some very heavy rain, and that's the concern. We're going to see that flood threat. So let me break it down. Again, generally speaking, scattered showers and storms today. Jamaica will get a few showers and storms. Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire, we've had some teaser showers over the last few days. A lot of this, once again, just staying off to the east, but no, I've got you covered. Now look at tomorrow morning. Rain working in near St. Lucia, Barbados. South, again, some spots may be dry, others getting dumped on. And then again, still that rain around as we work our way into our Saturday afternoon. Heavy rain, northern Venezuela, Guyana, parts of Suriname, near Trinidad and Tobago, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama tomorrow afternoon. Areas of some heavier rain, watching out for some isolated flooding. And then as this tropical wave moves across, once again, ABC Islands, not a lot, but then there's more tropical waves back behind it, which I just showed you, that bigger picture. And then a little flare up of some rain. We could see a higher chance of rain by Sunday near the Cayman Islands. Keep an eye on Honduras, Nicaragua for that chance of flooding, scattered showers and storms as we work our way toward Belize. Now, here we are in the Caribbean, my friends, in Florida, the Bahamas, Bermuda, and again, we've been tracking stuff Bermuda up toward Canada the last few days. That system did not redevelop, Cindy, but some increased moisture. But here's what's going on. This yellow shading here, Eastern Caribbean, that's some dust, thick dust out here. So there's wind shear. Those are winds coming in the opposite direction that knock apart some of the thunderstorms, and some dust, and that's why those areas are not really developing into a tropical storm. But this tropical wave moving in, and I showed it to you, really flaring up, it is going to act like a tropical storm for some of us. It's a strong one that's pushing in. So breaking down the rain, again, spotty showers, kind of afternoon variety. If you get a downpour, a quick 50 millimeters of rain possible. We had some rain, welcome rain, parts of the British and U.S. Virgin Islands. I've been watching over towards St. Croix. Even St. Martin, we had some showers nearby. As we swing, let me zoom a little closer here to this tropical wave. Northern Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago. Now, when I look at this map as a meteorologist, I'm looking at this white shading, and it's telling me there's a lot of moisture with this. There's a lot that could dump from the sky. So this white shading, that would be 100 millimeters of rain or 4 inches or higher, and that's going to lead to flooding. Now, with that said, this is a computer model. So again, you see this white shading here, and maybe a little bit more over here, could be a little bit over here. This just gives me a feel that that available moisture is there with this tropical wave, and that some spots are going to get over 100 millimeters of rain, which will lead to that flooding. And again, on these scales, we have millimeters here inches here, millimeters, inches. So again, depending on what you would like to use, I try to keep both on the screen to try to help out as many folks as possible. We get back through Central America, again, some areas that will see some issues with flooding, and we've had that. Nicaragua, even drifting up toward Honduras, especially inland, some spots for 3-day totals that will get over 100 millimeters of rain. So again, this tropical wave, the highest flood threat starts tonight into tomorrow. It is a strong one. I'm watching those rivers and streams, but just simply elsewhere. Since the ground is saturated, those areas that typically flood, I do expect some flooding if those downpours move in overhead. Now, as we get to the eastern Pacific, look at this spin. That is Hurricane Adrian, unfortunately moving away, but this here is Beatrice, about to become a hurricane. Pounding surf, dangerous surf. That is going to lead to issues along the coast. That's going to lead to damage along the coast, southwest coast of Mexico. Now, you get a counterclockwise flow in these, so that is also going to draw on some heavier moisture back behind it. In the higher terrain in Mexico, with those winds kind of whipping in the rain whipping in, that is going to lead to a high likelihood of landslides, mudslides, and life-threatening flooding along the southwestern coast. So paralleling the coast, the center should stay just offshore. Then as it moves up toward the Baja, we'll get some weakening. And you see it here, watches and warnings are up. We've got those warnings that are up along the southwest coast, and as it moves toward the Baja, it will weaken because there's a little wind shear in cooler water temperatures. But again, this is a major issue with that flooding. There's going to be a ton of rain. So Adrian moving away, getting a look at those computer models, just kind of skirting the coast. And with that, this here is the probability of tropical storm force winds. We're at about 100% chance, very close to it, of the tropical storm conditions. That's definitely going to happen. Been talking about that for days over on Earth QC. You could search that on YouTube as well. Been talking about that for days. But tropical storm conditions to near hurricane conditions along the coast. Now, this is the time frame for the tropical storm conditions to move in throughout the day today into tonight. So throughout the day today into tonight, that's when the worst weather will be. So starting to happen now and then continuing through tonight into very early tomorrow. And you can see, again, these models just parallel to the coast. Then it kind of hooks out a little bit. But once we get here, there is going to be the weakening. Here are the models as you take a look out over time. This green shading, that would be tropical storm force. This yellow shading, that would be hurricane force. So 12 hours out in time, 24, 36. So going out in time, this could become a hurricane, at least close to it, and then eventually all the models show that weakening as it lifts up to the northwest because, again, some of the cooler water. So here's Adrian. That's going to move away. Always keep an eye on Hawaii, too. Here's the southwest coast of Mexico. This is later today. It really wraps up. By that, I mean it gets stronger, very symmetric, really wrapping up around a center. And with that, we're going to see this becoming Hurricane Beatrice. And you see it paralleling the coast, but the backside of it, trying to wrap in some moisture, battering in very dangerous surf right along the coast. This is by the time we get into later tomorrow. Later tomorrow, it starts to pull away, and as it does, we'll get that weakening trend with it. Still, again, very, very dangerous surf all the way through the weekend into early next week at least, because we've got these swells that are going to keep working in. But as we get into Sunday, you see it right there, that weakening trend. Although, with that flow back behind it, what I see a lot of times is with the high terrain, we're going to see some flooding even inland because we'll see some storm showers build up, mudslides, landslides, then become a threat. So there's Adrian looking at the winds. This orange shading you're seeing here, orange or red shading, you're seeing right here in the middle, that would be hurricane force winds or close to it, 110 kilometers an hour or 70 miles per hour, 74 makes it a hurricane. So the core of the hurricane force winds staying just offshore, but we could get some gusts about 110 kilometers right along the coast. So again, definitely the tropical storm force conditions. And then this is by the time we get into tomorrow morning, you can see it again pulling away. Now here's what happens as it pulls away and weakens. When a system like this weakens, a lot of times the wind field, while it diminishes some, it spreads out more. So again, it kind of gets sloppier, but that means it could throw some broader winds over toward the Baja and again, still parts of southwest Mexico. And there is that flow coming in generally out of the south that will still give us that pounding surf and that threat right along the immediate coast all the way through Sunday. So lots to cover there. As far as the rain goes, again, some spots over 100 millimeters of rain, but we're going to see some spots upwards of about 150 millimeters of rain or more. That's over half a foot of rain. That's the concern with the flooding along the coast and the possibility of mudslides and landslides inland. Now, in the Pacific, there's a different set of names. In the Eastern Pacific, they're still called hurricanes, by the way. You get elsewhere, they're called typhoons. Different spots in the world, they're called Willy Willies in different spots. So again, crazy names. But again, Adrian and Beatrice, those are the two we're dealing with now. Calvin would be the next name on the list. In the Pacific, the next name on the list on the Atlantic side, that is Don. So Beatrice hugging the southwest coast of Mexico. Tropical storm, if not hurricane impacts. Life-threatening flooding in the slides. Adrian, though, moves away, and that will weaken as it moves across the Pacific. All right, Belize today, and through the weekend, a 40 to 50% chance of the showers and storms. We get back to Jamaica. Jamaica, it's the scattered afternoon storms, just like yesterday. Been watching my friends in Jamaica. Again, you've been leaving me the comments. Some spots dry, others get those afternoon storms. Keep me posted on what you got going on. 30% chance across the Bahamas. We've already seen some scattered showers around today. Puerto Rico, we're back down to kind of the pop-up variety. Hit or miss, 30% chance today through the weekend. Same thing, British U.S. Virgin Islands. Generally the same thing, Antigua, Barbuda, over towards Statia, St. Martin, St. Bart's, Anguilla, passing shower chance. More of the action again down to the south. St. Lucia, though, tomorrow, rain chance up to 50% because that tropical wave starts to move in. So the rain chance higher in St. Lucia tomorrow. Barbados, about a 50 to 60% chance. Same thing, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Through Grenada, look at Grenada for us tomorrow. A 70% chance of wet weather. And of course, I've been talking about Trinidad and Tobago because that's where it's kind of moving in. It's moving right at us in Trinidad. So 70, 80% chance of rain by tonight into early tomorrow. And watching out for that flood threat. Same thing, Guyana into Suriname. I've been talking about Guyana, watching out for the flooding. If you're in Guyana and Suriname, keep me posted in the comments. Got you covered, especially northern Guyana. We've got this tropical wave sliding in. So the train of tropical waves, I'm going to keep an eye out for some development as we get into July, which starts tomorrow. Conditions become more conducive for development. So if anything spins up, I'll let you know. Southeastern Caribbean watching the flooding. And then we get another wave back behind it. I mentioned not a lot of time in between. Late Monday into Tuesday, we get another tropical wave moving in. By the way, the next name on the list, as I mentioned, is Don. And keeping an eye on Beatrice. We're thinking of our folks in southwest coast of Mexico that are dealing with this potential of a hurricane conditions right along the coast. So lots to cover. Please keep me posted in the comments. Please share this channel for safety. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Have a good rest of your day.